Thank you, everyone. And I want to thank the organizers as well for the great organization and for inviting me for this great event. About the topic for today, I actually changed the topic. I'm sorry about that, but I thought it will be more interesting. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I thought it would be more interesting to focus more on what is wrong with VC funds, with founders raising capital. So the market is changing. For example, if we look at previous cycles, founders could raise capital very easily, and VCs were mostly betting on narratives. They were not really looking at the value of the projects. But what happened after that is that most of those projects ended up dying because there was no great fundamentals. And that is still happening today, but I will go deeper into it. So this I will put in the end if you want to connect with me later. Before we start, I'll just give you a little background about me. So I've been in the crypto space full-time since 2017. I started in fiat to crypto processing, so that was the first crypto startup that I started working on. I was there the CEO, and we managed to basically grow from the scratch, from $0 to $20 million annual revenue. After that, I decided to exit, and I launched Ye Network. So at Ye Network, we are basically backing startups at early stage. We've had more than 100 investments. We've had 3 unicorns that reached more than 1 billion valuation. We've also accelerated a few projects. So here are some projects, maybe you might know them. And here is also our logo. So this is Ye Network, Easy Capital. This is our latest fund that we started raising recently. So we are opening a $20 million fund this year. The main focus will be to invest in both Web3 startups, but also Web2. So we want to put some more focus in AI, fintech technologies. Yeah, that will be the main focus for that. So as I mentioned in the beginning, there was this FOMO era where builders basically raise first and build later. So I remember before, many founders, they come to me, they said, oh, we already raised like $5 million, $10 million. But in fact, they didn't build anything. They just had ideas. This mindset, I think it still dominates Web3. So it's not only before, but it's still happening. And it's very scary that it happens also with the big projects. We see big projects that, I don't know, raise more than 100 million, and they are yet to even deploy their technology. Next, there is the problem that founders try to exit earlier. So on the first one, we already saw they first don't deliver products, but they are raising capital. And then after they already raised capital and launched in the market, they already want to exit their positions. So they start selling their equity in form of OTC transactions. Yeah, that's another thing which is really bad for the space because basically they are destroying retail. It's, I would say, kind of like a slow rug, kind of a legal rug in a way. Yeah, that's been like one of the main issues also this year. If we look back at 2021, I believe even more than 90% of the tokens disappeared. So, very few of them really survived these market conditions. And the problem is not just with the founders, it's the VCs and investors that are encouraging such founders that don't care about fundamentals, just want to have a quick exit. So it's the problem from both sides. Lastly, there is another issue that founders are raising at extremely high valuations. It seems to me that not a lot of people actually know how to calculate company valuation. I see projects that don't generate revenue, don't have any product, maybe just MVP, and their valuation can be up to 500 million, sometimes 1 billion. And obviously, those valuations cannot keep up over time. I can give an example. For example, we invested in Layer Zero in their latest round, and the valuation was $3 billion. Basically, they can't even move past this valuation. It was extremely high valuation. And even big investors got in this round. And it just doesn't work. They raised more than 500 million at 3 billion. It's just nonsense. So this, as I mentioned now, Web3 fundraising is about hype. Unfortunately, it's not about investing in great products, in great founders. I've been in a lot of discussions lately in like Twitter spaces, different podcasts, and all founders tell me the same thing. They ask, okay, can you please tell me how many actual useful products there are in crypto? Like, okay, obviously we have some interesting like DeFi stuff, like, you know, Uniswap, like loans with Aave. There might be other few interesting things. But if we look at the amount of funding, I wouldn't say that there is like really crazy, amazing technology that doesn't already exist in Web 2. And this is one of the main issues, that everyone is chasing the hype. People are not actually chasing great technology, great innovation. Projects just copy each other. VCs just want quick exits. So all in all, there is a lot of things that are wrong at the moment with fundraising Web3. And yeah, I don't want to go through all these points. I think they are pretty self-explanatory. But all in all, when you prioritize narratives and hype over products, over community, it just cannot be sustainable over time. And in the end of the day, it's the retail who gets burned. So I made this pyramid to kind of show how usually the investment landscape looks like. So in the earlier rounds, usually the angels will be the first ones that will have like the lowest valuation to enter the deal. And sometimes some VCs might also enter like the very early rounds, like pre-seed round or angel round. But anyways, VCs and angels are always like typically the ones that enter at the best prices. Next is syndicates, like Yeah Network. We are running the syndicate. So usually we don't so often invest in the earliest round, usually like already the second round, like seed round, private round. This is like our zone of comfort. Next, it's like the later stage, like usual like launchpads. Also exchanges, like they have like Binance Launchpad and so on. So typically there, the investors are already getting like the highest price. And it's mostly retail people who are investing through these community platforms. And the very last one is the people who will actually buy after launch, not before launch. That's the usual retail people that already buy from the secondary market. And that's like the highest risk. You know, these people who are on the bottom of this pyramid, they're basically paying for the exit of all the other ones. And they are, in fact, the real believers, because they are the guys who were following the project from the start. They were really excited about it. They really wanted to buy it. But because this scheme is kind of broken, and also founders don't care so much about their retail investors. So they just end up being exit liquidity for all the previous investors. Here we can see that there are some product misalignments. When it comes to this one, the first one, I already went through it. So raising capital without a product is a no-go. Having other aspects about token utility, functionality that is not really working, also it doesn't make sense. But yeah, I already went through all these points, so let's move forward. Here I want to give example of two projects that, in my opinion, actually are doing really well, and it's one of the few examples that I can say that they really care about their product, about their community, and they build something really meaningful. So the first one, I'm not sure, is someone familiar with Geonet? You can just raise your hand. Okay. So Geonet is actually one of the few projects that is currently working with the US government. They developed a really great technology within the deep in space, and they do everything transparently. They first built a real product, they generate revenue, and only after they decided that it's time to launch the token, to raise funds. So they first prove their concept. They show, okay, this works, there is demand for it, we are solving a real world problem. And then they started raising funds. And if you look at their chart, you can check them after on CoinMarketCap, you will see that the chart looks really healthy. So it's one of the best charts I've seen in the market. And I have the pleasure to accelerate this project at the moment. In terms of community, they also make sure that the price is sustainable, that the retail doesn't become the exit liquidity. And the second example, I'm sure everyone is familiar with Celestia. So they also really focused on developing the core technology to deploy their products and to make the incentive scheme really attractive for their retail investors. So actually, a lot of people receive a lot of money from Celestia, and they didn't mess up their launch like many of the other big names that were supposed to have also great launches and great rewards for their investors. So these are two examples that I really would like to highlight. So after everything that we have gone through, this is my advice. So I believe that for founders who are currently raising funds, first of all, the first question you should ask yourself is, do you really need a token that will have a real use case in your ecosystem? And does it really make sense to make fundraising through the token? Because this is actually the main problem that founders do nowadays, that they don't know what will be the use case of the token, and they just make it, okay, let's make a DAO, let's make staking, and that's basically most of the use cases. But in fact, that's not enough. They are just using the token as a means to raise funds. And obviously that cannot be sustainable. So I've seen great teams, great founders that developed amazing products, but are products that completely have no need to have a token. So that's the first question a founder should ask himself. Then build product first. Understand if there is real demand for the product. Sometimes it happens, founders, they will have the idea, they will raise the funds, and when they build a product, they understand, okay, there is no demand for my product, but I already raised funds, what's next? So first, test your idea, make MVP, bootstrap the project to get to that stage, or just get small funding from close connections, investors, relatives. It doesn't matter. The very first stage should really be about proving your idea that it works, that there is demand for it. Next is about growing demand around your product. So you already tested your idea, you see that it works, now it's time to put it to work and start making some money and try to generate the revenue. That's the most important thing. That for me as an investor, I want to see that you are a sustainable company, you can generate revenue over time, and you will be a successful business that doesn't depend on bull market, bear market, that you will be able to scale in any type of market condition. And then it's the time to raise capital. When you already proved all these ideas and the product and revenue and the traction, then it's time to raise capital, and you are 100% sure that investors will be attracted because you've proven all the points to them. Yeah, this is just a very short summary. Also, I advise founders to burn their capital slowly. Don't invest too much in the beginning. I see, for example, some founders, they invest in the first few weeks, I don't know, like 50K or even sometimes more for some KOLs and stuff like that. So yeah, better, you know, to first build a trust, build a community organically. If you know, you are not ready for the launch, better to delay the launch and make sure that when it comes, you will really be ready for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this great talk. Now we have 5 minutes for questions. I see already we have 2 questions, so we can start with Alexander.
Great talk. I have a small question about the starting of any startup, as we are working in industry which is mostly the R&D. So even initially you need to spend some money to hire the teams of good engineers that can prove and create these MPs. And something that I've seen in industry is that these early VCs, or however you call them, angels and so on, they take a lot of cut. They go up to like 30%. And that can kind of kill the whole idea, as even if you build everything right, you gave up so many percentage that next investors will not buy in. So from your experience, how much do you think in these early phases we should give up the percentages for, you know, is there any standard on it?
Well, it's you should calculate the valuation. So, for example, maybe you can tell me what valuation are you raising, and I can give you.
I'm not raising anything.
Okay. So, typically, I would say, for example, if you are pre-revenue, if you don't have product, it should be pretty small valuation, like maybe even 1 million, because you know it's basically an idea. And at this stage, I think you should try to raise as little as possible, just enough to get started, to get like the first MVP. Because once you have MVP, you can show a little bit of traction, a little bit of demand. You can already raise the valuation like 5 million, for example. So the goal is like for the very first round, you don't give too much equity to anybody. You keep it to yourself. You just raise a little, like just enough to create the very first beta version MVP whatsoever.
Great, thank you. I think there was another question from you, the first row.
Thank you very much. What will be your advice for the projects which were affected by the investors' rugs?
You mean about that the investors were selling after launch? Well, you know, there is, if it's already, the damage is done, it's hard to change it, right? So you should just prevent it. And the way to prevent it is with the vesting and valuation. For example, I was also raising funds in 2021. And what investors are telling me, they are telling me, hey G, I want to invest at 4 million valuation and I want like 3-month vesting, for example. Like they just want basically get lowest price and exit as fast as possible. In this case, you already can identify that he's a bad investor because he doesn't care about you, he doesn't care about your project. He just wants to get his money as soon as possible. So me personally, if I could go back in time, I will decline such investors. Like I will just say, sorry, this is like a long-term project, a long-term horizon. So if you are not ready to wait, then you shouldn't get any allocation. And as for us, for example, we are ready to wait sometimes 10 years. We have projects that have a horizon of 10 years. So, you know, it really depends what type of investors you want to onboard. But if it already happened, if you already raised funds and basically your investors are selling everything, if they have some allocation left, I would propose that you try to give this allocation to someone via OTC, maybe someone who might be a stronger believer on your project, and they are ready to buy this allocation from the previous investor.
Okay. And just a short
Yeah,
one.
sure.
For the projects which are running without token or even starting without token, do you see any trend here? Just maybe, are they becoming more numerous or what?
Yeah, I see the trend. You know, the typical, most standard investment agreement is called SAFT. And now what is becoming popular? It's a safe agreement, which is basically an agreement for private equity with token warrants, meaning that in the agreement it's written, okay, we are buying 20% equity of the project, for example. And in the future, if there is a token, there is a ratio like 1-1. So for each equity you get, you will also get a token. But it's not for sure that there will be a token in the future. They just leave the door open. Okay, you are buying equity, but in the future, if you have a token, you will also get a token. Some projects, they already, for example, have some plan, what will be the token. Other projects don't have a clear plan, don't have tokenomics. They just said, like, okay, we will start now with equity, and later on, we will do the token.